Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. K.C. Thambika, Vice Principal, Head, the Department of English, Tamil Nadu College. Today I'm going to introduce you to the poem Still I Rise, written by Maya Angelou, taken from Women's Writing. Before we get started, let's learn something about the poet Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou is an African American poet. She has been so active in fighting for the civil rights of black community. So besides being a poet and author, she has also been a civil rights activist. So now I need to tell you something more about Maya Angelou. She was born in 1928, 4th April, and she passed away on 28th May 2004. Now Maya Angelou, when you talk about her, you should see her lines of the poem. She uses powerful themes and powerful expressions to voice her feelings about the black community. Her favorite themes are racism and a black community. Now we will get started. Maya Angelou. You can see this particular poem has been taken from a book of poems, and this poem is a celebrated work, and it stands as a testament for the resilience and dignity of the black community. Now you can see her contribution towards black literature is immense. Yes, and you can see more details about Maya Angelou. Now, in one of her speech, like her eloquence, the whole nation admired her eloquence. She delivered a speech on the occasion of President Bill Clinton's 1993 inauguration, and the whole nation was captivated by her eloquence, her delivery of speech. Her speech was so powerful, and the whole world, the whole world was, immensely. They were captivated by her speech, I should tell you. Yes, and you can see she always advocates black identity and women empowerment. All her poems, they focus on this particular themes. Now these are, when you start this poem, when you read this poem, you should always have the backdrop of the poem in your mind. This poem was written at a time when civil rights movement was at its peak. And you could also, even you should remember the aftermath of civil rights movement, the ongoing discrimination and dehumanization which was practiced against the black community. Now you should also remember the historical background of this poem. You should remember the painful history of black slavery, the slave trade which was practiced against the black community, how they were oppressed, how they were dehumanized in many ways, more than one. And you can see the theme of the poem. This poem, it expresses the defiance of a black speaker, and she represents the whole black community, her people. Now, we move on to the next slide. Now, I wish to read out the poem for you so that we can look into each and every line. The lines may appear to be very short, but they possess a world of meaning which is conveyed by each and every expression. And Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lines. You may trot me in the very dirt, but still like dust I will rise. Look at the last line of that first quatrain. Like dust I will rise. Now this refers to a biblical allusion. In the Bible it is said, like man is made out of dust. Thou art made of dust, and to the dust thou returnest. So man is made of dust. The whole humanity, they are made of dust. And she says she is also one such person like anyone else. And how, like you can see the segregation and the discrimination that the black people are exposed to, which she feels is a very great injustice done to her people. So let's come back to the first line. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lines. She says, the whole world, she talks to the white oppressors. She tells the white people, you may write lies about me. Me actually represents not just her, the whole black community. She says, you may frame lies against me in the pages, and those might be recorded in the pages of history. But whatever you do against me, still I will rise like dust from the below. And she also said, you may trod me down, you may trod me in the very dirt, but still I will rise. Just like dust I will rise. She says, you may trample me down, you might try to crush my spirit, but just like a phoenix bird, I will come up. I will come back to this world. Though nothing can put me down, nothing can chain me down, she says. That's what she says. Look at the next stanza. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Because I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Look at the questions. They are full of sarcasm. She's shooting these questions at her oppressors, the white race, I should say. She says, does my sassiness upset you? Sassiness is bold attitude and like when you see when the oppressors, when they make the black people their victims, and black people still they continue to be very bold and disrespectful, that will naturally offend the oppressors. So that's what she is asking. Look at the question. Does my sassiness upset you? Are you offended by my boldness, by my disrespectful attitude towards you? Why are you beset with gloom? Why do you look so miserable? Why are you so gloomy when you see my attitude, my bold attitude? And is it because you can't tolerate me walking like as though I own oil wells? So the black people, though they are in an impoverished state, they walk around with that attitude, with that confidence, like as though they are owners of oil wells. So she's asking, is that offending you? That's a question she's shooting at her oppressors. And then look at the next stanza. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I rise, still I will rise. So just like moons and suns, now sun and moon, they are celestial bodies. Nothing can stop them. They are inevitable. They rise and they set, and nothing can stop them. So she says, my spirit is unstoppable. She talks about the black community and she says, nothing can stop us. Just like moon and sun, the celestial beings, we will rise. And how the sun and moon, they affect the tides. So similarly, she says, I will continue to rise. Just like hope springing high, I will rise. So nothing is ever going to stop me. Nothing is going to stop my spirit. Yes. And did you want to see me broken? Look at the rest of the questions, full of sarcasm. She's so sarcastic in her questions. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head, lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. So these are the questions she's shooting at her oppressor. She's asking, do you want to see me broken? Do you want to see me shattered? Do you want to see me in that savage, the slave's posture? What will be the slave's posture? Posture of submission, lowered eyes, bowed head. So do you want to see me when I'm not in that position that annoys you? That's what she's asking, such a question. Do you want to see me with the lowered shoulders? She says, you can never see me in that posture. And even you can see the slave, his soul will be crying out. He says, you can never see us in that posture because we will never come down to that. We will never give up fighting against this oppression. Next stanza, we are moving on to the next stanza. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard because I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. She says, okay, does my haughtiness offend you? Haughtiness is nothing but arrogance. So, how much ever the blacks are being suppressed and oppressed, still they are coming back with double the spirit. Their spirit has it cannot be subdued at all. So she's asking, is my haughtiness offending you? She says, don't take it so serious. Don't take it so serious into heart. She says, I will continue to laugh like as though I own gold mines in my backyard. So gold is the symbol of wealth. She says naturally wealth will bring about power. So she says, she says that I will walk around with that attitude as though I own gold mines in my backyard. Nothing is going to put us down. That's it. She keeps repeating that. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I will rise. All these stanzas she kept telling, like dust I will rise, but now you can see she has an elevated feeling. She says like air I will rise. That's all. Okay? She said, you may do whatever you want. You may shoot me with your words. With your bitter words you can shoot me. Your words will be like bullets piercing into my body. Or you can even cut me with your glare, with your stare, with your rude stare, you can cut me to pieces. Or you can even kill me with your hatred, with your aversion, but still I will rise. I will rise like air. No? So now from the dust, she places herself in an elevated position and she says, like air, I will rise. And then look at the next stanza. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise? That I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Look at this stanza. She talks about her sexuality. She says, does my sexiness upset you? Does my sexy appeal upset you? Is it upsetting you? And then, does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Now here she has used so many metaphors. She has used oil wells, she has used gold mines, and now she is using diamonds. She says all these three are symbols of wealth, and excess wealth will give you power. So she associates her body with all these valuable possessions, and she is asking, she is shooting this question at the oppressor. She says, I continue to dance like as though I have diamonds in between my thighs. And so she says, is that offending you? Are you getting offended by that? And then, out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Now she is reminding the world about that shameful past of the history which is recorded in the pages of history, the slavery. She talks about the slave trade, how black community, they were treated like animals and they were sold, they were bought and sold. So she's saying, out of that shameful past itself I have risen. And so what is this? Up from a past that's rooted in pain, and that chapter was full of pain, so much of agony her people suffered. From that itself she has risen. And then she compares herself to an ocean, not blue ocean. She says, I'm a black ocean, full of power, okay, leaping and wide. So that one metaphor will show you so much of power that she possesses. Welling and swelling there in the tide. So she compares herself, she uses a metaphor of an ocean, and she says, I'm a black ocean, and I'm so proud of my blackness, my black color. That's what she's trying to convey in the stanza. And then we move on to the last stanza. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I'm the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Look at the first line. She says, from all this bitter past, I will leave behind all my bitter past. I will leave behind my terror. I will leave behind my fear. And then I will move forward towards a beautiful morning, a daybreak full of hope and joy. And she says that that day is going to be a wonderful, clear day. And then she says, I will not come alone. I will not come with free hands. I will carry the gifts which I had inherited from my ancestors. What are the gifts that she has inherited? What is the gift that she has inherited from her ancestors? The resilience. What is the resilience? That bearing capacity, the tolerance. So I will carry the gifts which I have inherited from my ancestors. So with that I will move forward. And then she says, she declares, I'm the dream of the slave. I'm the hope of the slave. I will continue to rise. I will continue to rise and still rise. The very title, and still I rise, that still, it has So much of meaning, contained in that. She says, despite everything, despite all the challenges, despite all the oppression, despite all the dehumanizing episodes in her life, she will rise. So that is why the title it is worded like that, like, and still I rise. And so we can just summarize the whole poem again in a few words. That you can say, like as I told you, Maya Angelou is an American civil rights activist, and this is one of her most famous poem, acclaimed poem. And then I can also say this poem is an assertion of the dignity and black women's empowerment, and she always writes about blackness and black community. Yes, and this can also be read as a criticism of anti-black racism. Yes, that's very important. That's the main theme that is entwined in the poem. And this is what the lines which I explained, it is being paraphrased. She tells these are addressed to the whites, to the white oppressors. She said, you have the ability to shape the history in whatever way you want, but that is not going to stop me. You may trample me, but that is not going to stop me. And then she's asking, is my cheeky attitude, my bold attitude offending you? Are you offended by that? But nothing is going to change. I will continue to be so, and I will continue to rise. And then she talks about how she, like celestial beings, like the moon and the sun, she will continue to influence, how the moon and sun influences the tides, she will continue to rise. It is just inevitable. Nothing is going to stop her. And then she's asking, why do you look so sad? Is my attitude, my bold attitude and arrogance upsetting you? And then she also says, do you want to see me in the posture of a slave? That's not going to happen. That wish of yours is not going to get fulfilled. Okay? And then she says, is my pride making you sad? I'm so proud of my black color. And is that offending you? That also is not going to stop. I continue to be so proud of my blackness, my black heritage, my black culture. And then she goes on to say, you can shoot me, you can cut me, you can kill me, still I will rise. Shoot me with your words as bullets, kill me with your hatred, aversion, and then you can cut me with your stare, with your rude stare, but nothing is going to change. And then she's asking, is my sexual appeal affecting you? That also, she says, I'm so proud of my black sexuality. That's what she's trying to say. And then she says, I'm so powerful as a black ocean, and I'll continue to rise high like high tides. And then I leave behind all my fear and terror, and I will take my people along, and we as a community are not going to be chained, and nothing is going to put us down. So you can feel the power of Maya Angelou. And these are the themes. She is defiant in the face of oppression. Nothing is like she is not going to get subdued. That's one important theme of the poem. And this is the second theme, the power and beauty of blackness. She says she's full of power of blackness, and she feels black is beauty, and she's so proud of her color. Okay, so this is what are the main themes to say. And then in this racist world, she has written this poem. And she says that the whites, they have completely denied any kind of consideration towards the blacks, and they were treated so inhumanly. Okay, so these are all the same explanation which I have already given to you. And how she talks about rising like dust. She brings in allusions from the Bible also. And then she compares herself as a black ocean. Okay, and all this. These are the key themes like resilience, black identity, yes, and then you can see these are some of the poetic devices which she has used in the poem. One is repetition. She keeps on repeating, I rise, I rise. That's a refrain that emphasizes the point that she will keep rising. And she uses metaphors like gold mine, then oil wells and diamonds. And then she also uses a device of rhetorical questions. She repeatedly asks questions to the oppressors. We're not waiting for the answer. And then she also uses some similes like dust, like air. So these are a few literary devices she uses in the poem. And these are the same, some lines are being quoted. I just picked out some important lines from the poem which I've already read out to you. And these are the cultural impact and the legacy of this poem. This poem can be considered as an anthem, an empowerment anthem. It's an anthem, it's a sacred song. And then this poem is an inspiration for change, and this also has received broad recognition. And this poem will have enduring relevance. This is not just for black community; it is for all marginalized people. So this poem will always have an enduring relevance. And so this poem, finally to conclude, I should say, this voice, Maya Angelou's voice, continues to inspire the black community. It stands as a timeless symbol of strength and indomitable will to overcome adversity. So there ends my session. Thank you.